One of Earth's continents is rising up, and the effects could be huge. Antarctica has over 140 volcanoes and counting, and it also has a super volcano bigger than Yellowstone. Antarctica is shedding weight, allowing the continent to rise from the ocean somewhat like a once squished sponge now free to expand again. That weight is its ice. The process is called post-glacial uplift, and new research suggests it will have a massive impact on future global sea level rise. It could reduce Antarctica's contribution by up to 40%, or it could make things far worse depending on how much heat-trapped ice-melting fossil fuels we continue to let loose. With nearly 700 million people living in coastal areas and the potential cost of sea level rise reaching trillions of dollars by the end of the century, understanding the domino effect of Antarctica ice melt is crucial, says McGill University glaciologist Natalia Gomez. And in the last few years, Antarctica ice has remained stubbornly low. Gomez and colleagues examined Earth's mantle beneath the Antarctic ice sheet and found it particularly squishy in some key areas. The seismic data revealed that this high level of viscosity is creating the unexpectedly fast rise of the land of Antarctica. Our measurements show that the solid earth that forms the base of the Antarctic ice sheets is changing shape surprisingly quickly, says Ohio State University geologist Terry Wilson. The land uplift from reduced ice on the surface is happening in decades rather than over thousands of years. The team then used 3D modeling to simulate sea level rise due to Antarctica's changing land mass across different scenarios. If warming levels are kept low, it contributes to sea levels again gaining up to 1.7 meters, that's 5.6 feet by the year 2500. But this blows out as too high as 19.5 meters if we continue to allow global warming to increase unabated. This is because when the ice sheet retreat outpaces the uplift, more water ends up being expelled into the oceans. But if we manage to slow down this melt, the rising land will lift some of the ice away from warmer ocean waters, allowing it to be preserved for longer. This study marks a breakthrough in our ability to better predict the impacts of climate change on rising seas and to inform effective environmental policy, says University of Massachusetts glaciologist Rob DeConto. As Earth is not a perfectly smooth sphere, different parts of our planet will experience unique sea level impacts thanks to gravitational, rotational, and geological quirks. Our results further support recent findings that low latitude islands and coastal sites already being affected by sea level rise will experience higher than average sea level rise associated with Antarctic ice loss, regardless of the ice loss scenario, Gomez and her team explain. This finding highlights the climate injustice towards nations whose emissions are low while their exposure and vulnerability to sea level rise is high. There's still a lot of unnecessary uncertainty in the model, the researchers caution, particularly due to the lack of seismic data from West Antarctica, and these estimates do not even factor in what's happening with the ice in Greenland and the world's mountains. To document how fast our world is changing, it's very important to continue advancing our ability to make predictions that are more certain, which is the only path that will allow us to tend to our future in a meaningful way, explains Wilson. Rising sea levels are already impacting low-lying islands like those in Kiribati. That's around between Hawaii and North Island of New Zealand. Most of South Tarawa is less than 3 meters, that's about 12 feet above sea level, where villagers in Temawaku have been trying to hold back the ocean with sandbags. Can you imagine? Only for them to be washed away earlier this year, flooding homes and tainting crop soils and water wells with salt. That's a destruction. Meanwhile, wetlands are trapped between rising waters and human infrastructures like roads, Losing those ecosystems which filter water and control erosion will mean greater sea level rises, will hit these areas even harder. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions will allow the rebound of the solid Earth to play a greater role in preserving more of Antarctic's ice sheets and avoiding the worst and most inequitable impacts of future climate change on global coastlines, Gomez and colleagues conclude. And this research was published in Science Advances. This is on Science Alert by Tessa Koumoundouros. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.